Klownology Volume 1, An Introduction, read by the Prophet of Doom. We shall have an association in which the free development of each is the condition for the free development of all. This bold dream made indelible by Marx and Engels in 1848 shall be considered from the perspective of a key meta-moment to be unlocked from the Communist Manifesto, as we consider whether these high hopes now lay trampled in the dust of the totalitarian excesses of Chairman Mao and Comrade Stalin's homegrown holocausts, which were far more devastating than the industrial slaughter that Führer Hitler managed to achieve, showing that a noble doctrine can often cause many more problems than a wicked one. Or are these calamities just part of the journey as the chariot of liberty moves inexplicably forwards, eternally dislodging the grime of time, now primed and charged for the 21st century? The answer is yes, but only if we choose to internalize the Kampf, or struggle, whereby the values of freedom, equality, and justice become our guiding lights in an ever dimmer world. Undoubtedly, we stand upon the edge of an unparalleled moment in human history, and we must decide whether we are to be our saviours or terminators. The forces of love and hate furiously traverse our planet and attempt to break through our apathy. Hate screeches that we must revile the last remains of our collective humanity for a selfish cyborg society, while love simply implores us to be reborn in the spirit of global empathy. Klownology Volume 1, A Perspective, is a militaristically conceived journey in which we shall begin to pit fact against fiction and fiction against fact until only the truth remains. This is a perpetual task, which is about thinking through problems rather than around or above them. In more academic terms, our pragmatic immanent considerations will critique quasi-intellectual transcendentalism, whereby the issues are tackled rather than dissected. Perspective is defined as the art of representing objects on a flat surface so they appear to have their natural dimensions and relations. Our worldview or perspective is defined as much, if not more, by the information we exclude and have excluded from us, creating unnatural dimensions. To represent clearly, divergent information must become convergent within a frame to reveal the relationships between objects or events so their true form can be recognized. Presently, various nodes of philosophy are intersecting in response to the issue of truth and working towards an unexpected and exciting future that we are part of. Negre's time for revolution is an intellectual call to arms, with the realization that we need a war machine to fight for love, the eternal substance of life. Because have no doubt, we are under attack from a hateful system which, under the guise of government policy and global capitalism, is attempting to squeeze the goodness from the many for the profit of the few. Deleuze and Guattari's What is Philosophy questions not simply our existing conceptions of what philosophy is, but also what we have allowed philosophy to become, and further charges philosophy itself to summon forth a new earth, a new people. In God and the Universe, Arthur Gibson, the radical Cambridge Don, whom I was lucky enough to have as my philosophy tutor, closes his vast cross-disciplinary study with the affirmation that the destructive mentalities of people that so contaminated the previous century did not invariably lead back to the Dark Ages, but rather with a fresh perspective, a counterintuitive renaissance, is still within our grasp. But only, I believe, if we dare to return to the mystical rapture and passionate ecstasy which is the true heart of love. A perspective is not a manifesto, but is on the road to a manifesto. A piece of writing that showcases a different way of thinking and is involved and active on the front lines, where the battle for a new world is just beginning. Further, the wider construct of the piece is to analyse these nodes relative to a cosmological framework and consider how present-day thinking reflects the precession of the equinoxes, and most pertinently, the orbit of the Sun, which is due to eclipse with the centre of the galaxy in 2012, a conjunction that happens just once every 26,000 years. The imminent galactic eclipse is potentially an earth-shaking event. However, to ensure that apocalyptic futurology does not take precedence, the key to gaining an understanding of the cosmos will be Hamlet's Mill, a seminal piece by De Santillana and von Dechend that examines the origins of human knowledge in light of convergent astronomical information spread across early divergent cultures. As before we can understand our present and dream of the future, we must first learn our own past. Klownology Volume 1 has a tripartite structure of past, present and future, with an introduction and conclusion. My aim being the presentation of complex ideas within a logical framework. I have written in a style that is simultaneously both poetic and philosophical. A collagic approach has been taken to enable a diverse range of sources to be considered, thus reflecting reality, which is not compartmentalized, and further creating surprising juxtapositions within a fluid and lucid perspective that emerges from the superficial randomness, which allows the deep interpretation. Simply, I'm going with the flow of my thoughts to see where they lead and the conclusions which arise from them. Overall, Klownology Volume 1 is a challenging piece for people who